Bianca Rose, you still up? What are you doing out here? What are you doing?
Hi, Persia.
What is all these? What you doing up? I thought we was gonna meet tomorrow. Huck was worried about you.
Oh, he doesn't need to worry about me. Persia, you really inspired me. I mean, you're right. I've really been feeling sorry for myself, and I was thinking about Brittany Griner,
The WNBA player.
yeah, over in Russia, and I was just thinking about how, I am being held in a level of captivity, but I don't feel like a captive anymore because I have Wyldwoode,
Yeah, I know.
And I can still, just a simple thing. It was sort of reminding me of how we used to do the poetry workshops for the incarcerated women, and every week when we left, I still kind of had this guilty conscience, survivor's guilt, I get to drive away. And there were women in there who had, I met multiple women who had master's degrees, and at the time that's all I had.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me really, there are things that I've done in my life where the only difference between us, I thought about it, was they got caught.
Sure.
The closest I've ever been to really being in trouble was an eviction notice.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever had to go to a courtroom for a court summons. I've never been this down on my luck before, but I keep thinking about how Brittany, she and I went to court around the same time, and we're basically showing up in the same kind of getup, t-shirt and whatever we got on. And her game face is I was inspired by her, but I felt like maybe she was checked out, but her stoicism, I just want to know where she learned that from, because I need to learn that.
Well, we all deal with difficulties differently.
Yeah, but I know she seems like she's in good spirits on the outside, despite what all's happening to her, but knowing what it's like to feel like you can articulate what's going on with you can talk to people, but inside you're still shut down because you're bereft of moral support when you need it the most. Nobody came for me, nobody supported me, nobody shouted my name, nobody took to the streets, nobody cared. They didn't care enough to fight for me, Persia, the way that I needed them to. And that's why I'm pissed off at everybody still. But I still love them and I still care about them, even if they couldn't because of their own life circumstances. We were all kind of fighting back to back, we're still kind of in the same psychological trench together. And the difference between myself and Brittany Griner right now is even though I was used as a pawn for 4 years straight by Ohio University, I wasn't necessarily a prisoner of war, but wasn't I though? A kind of spiritual warfare.
Speak on that, sister.
You know what I mean? The psychological damage. Just because I'm not bleeding from the head, Persia, doesn't mean that I'm not hurting. And just because I'm quote unquote articulate and I can speak what's on my mind doesn't mean that I can function like everybody else. I'm not okay.
Right.
That's why I came back to the World Tree Library. I had to regroup.
Yeah.
That's why I came back to my mom's house, even though I didn't want to go. And I'm kind of having to force myself to reintegrate into my family and friends groups. I'm just basically forcing people to readopt me, even though I don't want to, because I know it's good for me.
Sure.
And I had a meltdown the other day. I blew up at my mom because she said, your sister wants to go to lunch and, she cries. And I'm like, yeah, but she got married and didn't tell me.
Last year was a hard year for everybody. And you know who she living with.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what she got to do for a living, and you know where she got to live.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's we all have different defense mechanisms, and I need somebody to love me back to life in Clay People Country, and nobody can, because nobody can love them, or nobody taught them how to do it. And it's why do I always have to be the one to show people how to do common sense, simple things? Just treat me the way that you would want to be treated if you were in my situation or my shoes, but they can't because they haven't been. Or if they have, it's been a really long time and they don't want to go back there.
Right.
So I keep thinking about Brittany, like, at least I can, like, get up and go to Walgreens. At least I can go on a walk. At least I can come out and see foxes. And I didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. She had her medicine on a plane. And they used her to prove a point to Joe Biden.
Right.
How awful. And they can't do anything to get her. And how worthless she must feel, because she's probably thinking about, like, all the Beckys and Sarahs and Kristens, you know, that white people will fight for the way that they fought for the Beckys in my department. But they didn't fight for me, even though they said, Bianca, we need to protect her because she's junior faculty. Well, that was BS, because they didn't. They fought for the blonde who was hired after me and wasn't first top pick in the country. They didn't hire the sister in Iowa who I told them to, who, I mean, we knew some of the same people. They're so stupid. They just think that I'm the fix-a-flat for everything and the blackness expert. And I wasn't. I couldn't even be myself the entire time I was in Ohio. And then I got kicked out, forcibly resigned. I took a knee and they took my job. Just like Colin Kaepernick. He's the mulatto one from Milwaukee, where I'm from originally.
Hogball player.
It's called football.
He would be an excellent hogball coach and player. Y'all need to assemble a team up there. Her with Brittany, sister Brittany. Oh my gosh, she would dunk on everybody.
I haven't gotten a chance to, like.
They would dominate. Could you imagine if they was caped into squads together and they was going head to head?
Well, let's get her home first, Persia. You know, because that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's exactly what happens. You think about somebody suffering and you think about immediately what they can do for you. Even when they're in the middle of their suffering.
I'm sorry. You know what? You right, Bianca Rose. I still got a lot to learn as a steward. Even I got a lot to learn. You right. I can't just put people to work for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, don't worry about it. I mean, but I think that's a natural unction for people, even in Door, to think about somebody who is a natural ether wielder, whether they're here or in Clay People country, and it's like, well, oh, I know exactly where to put them. Yeah, in your life.
Right.
That's why I kind of needed some time away from you and Huck too. It's not that, you know, I didn't understand what you all were trying to do for me, but some things you just have to kind of do for yourself. And so I really kind of took what you said to heart. And I said, you know, I want to be able to do something for her that nobody could do for me, because I know where she is mentally. Even if I'm not there physically, like, we all go to the same place. We all go to Always when our bodies are confined. Like, how do you think my ancestors survived the Middle Passage?
Right.
How do you think the First Nations are surviving, basically being ghettoized, and have been for hundreds of years on the res?
Right.
You know, how do you think military vets feel who, you know, they fight for this country, literally sacrifice life and limb, and the country is just, you know, our nation just shrugs their shoulders.
Right.
We leave our best behind and then turn right around and expect them to do something for us, and it's not fair. We weren't put here to be somebody's footstool. And I feel like, you know, if she wants to pull a Jordan and just, you know, do whatever she wants, maybe she could design a ball and she doesn't have to play for the WNBA ever again. You know why? Because the United States couldn't be bothered to go get her. And she is a prisoner of war. They couldn't get up off their ass and assemble a squad and go take her. You know what that's going to do? Everybody in the world is watching how Biden handles this. They're going to just start punking us left and right because of what Putin did to prove a point. Pfft. Got that old man up in the big chair. Watch this. And just use her as a pawn. The way I was used. The way Kamala Harris is being used.
Honey, you know, I mean, how, okay, so, but I don't understand what it is that you're working on, how you want me to I mean, where do I fit into all this? I want to help you. I do.
Well, I wrote a book, a children's book. It's too late for the adults, and I can't go back to Clay People Country just yet, but I was wondering if maybe you could go read stories to the children, our children, the Clay People children.
Me?
Yeah, I mean, you're an ambassador of Door too, Persia. I mean, I'm thinking about all those kids, you know, who are stuck in hotels with their parents, or they're in foster families where the people don't really necessarily want to keep them. They're not puppies, they're people. And they don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have anybody to read them stories about Door. So I was just wondering, I mean, if you could take my story until I'm ready to come back and play my position again. I mean, I'm one of you, right? I mean, you said that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking an ambassador of Door to do some storytelling in Clay People Country, because I can't anymore. Not right now. Not like this.
What does they say?
That's the part you would say.
I'm the steward of this here province. What story is this?
It's Little Woo.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Oh, Gina gonna love that. Lily woo, go woo. I remember that day.
Yeah. I mean, Huck can hold it down. I mean, all your apprentices are fine. The blight's over. It's not really over for us mentally in Clay People Country, and I can't do it anymore. Not like this. Not on my own. Definitely not without Pablo.
You all right, Bianca Rose. You all right. All right, I do it.
Persia, look.
What?
It's a fox.